Welcome back, supernatural enthusiasts, to the final installment of our Cursed Locations episodes here on Beyond the Hub podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Brandon. If you're a new viewer, we used to stream one lengthy episode on Mondays every week, but now we'll be splitting our content into 3 shorter segments, around 20 to 30-ish minutes each. You can catch these episodes every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And make sure that you don't forget about Nick's weekly videos dropping every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right, let's jump into it today with the final Cursed Location, Episode 3, The Island of the Dolls, or I'm going to butcher this, or, yeah, you're going to have to just take this from me.
La Isla de las Muñecas.
Located in the hauntingly beautiful canals of
Xochimilco,
Mexico City. All right, so I'm going to pull up these pictures real quick. Yeah, hold on a second. Hold on.
Whoa.
Here are the pictures. You can't really see it. I don't know why. Let me try to switch to this one. It's just not gonna. Our face is in the way. But there is a creepy doll up in here in the corner.
Wait, what if you click the zoom button? There we go.
There it was.
Into your soul.
So this is part of the island. Beautiful. We got one more picture here.
Man, dolls are creepy. Dolls are just creepy.
So this is, what you expect to see when you venture onto this island.
Dolls with belly buttons. They put an anatomic. Whoa! Pull that up one more second.
Hold on.
They put an anatomically correct genital on the baby up there. There's up top, on the very top of the tree.
Yeah, I'm not going to zoom in on that.
there's why are they putting that? Man, it's different culture, maybe. Different culture. I just think it's kind of funny because, like, I have sisters, and growing up,
yeah,
their baby dolls, their Barbie dolls, they were always very careful to make sure there's nothing there. It's just underwear or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they specifically put that there is just weird to me.
It is definitely weird.
So anyway, let's carry on.
These are fake dolls, YouTube.
Fake dolls. Absolutely fake dolls. And I was careful with my wordage there.
Yeah.
The Island of the Dolls is not your average tourist spot. It's made up of hundreds of dolls of various shapes, sizes, and colors, creating a very unsettling atmosphere, as you could have seen from just those 2 photos. It has captivated and also intrigued visitors for decades.
I'll say so. I'll say it's creepy.
Absolutely, dude.
In addition to the hundreds of dolls, the grounds host 3 small huts and a small museum with articles from local newspapers about both the island and previous owner.
So the history of this island is as intriguing as it is chilling. It all began in the mid-20th century, when its reclusive owner, Don Julian Santana Barrera, started collecting dolls and hanging them around the island. Why, you may ask? Legend has it that he did this as a tribute to a young girl whose spirit haunted the island.
You said Barrera?
Barrera? Yeah. Barrera.
I mean, it is said that Barrera stumbled upon the body of a young girl floating in the canals, or was unable to rescue her from drowning. The accounts vary.
Similar to that story from weeks ago about when we did Haunted Road segment on Clinton Road with the ghost boy.
Yeah.
There's various accounts there of the ghost boy flicking coin. He went to go pick up a coin and got hit by a car, or he fell off the bridge and drowned in the stream underneath. Yeah. Or some say that he was pushed over the edge by a malevolent spirit that is there. So there's multiple accounts that could explain this.
So after whatever one of those occurrences actually took place, the following day, Barrera discovered a doll floating down the canal. Believing it to be the girl's possession, he suspended the doll from a tree in her honor, using it as a protective charm against malevolent forces. But did he unintentionally trigger the curse that plagues the island to this day?
Maybe he did. Maybe,
what do you think?
Maybe by taking that doll, the spirit of the young girl, if that's what it is upset that he took the doll. Maybe he has good intentions with hanging it up from a tree in her honor. Maybe she perceives it as an insult. Because we don't really know what truly happened there. The two accounts, maybe he tried to save her from drowning and failed, or she was already unfortunately deceased and floating down the river. So we don't really know. Maybe there's a theory that I have a theory, at least, that whatever activity is going on there could be heavily related to Santeria, which is in Hispanic or Spanish cultures, like black magic, dark magic. Some people believe that it's white magic. Some of the women, and it's primarily practiced by women in the Hispanic culture. Some of them believe that there's two forms of it. There's a good and a bad Santeria, but I personally believe that all Santeria is Santeria. It's probably not a good idea to be getting involved with these magical practices, but Santeria has similarities to...
Are you rocking right now?
No.
Every time you say that word, like, the desk will vibrate.
Should I test it?
Yeah, say it.
Santeria. That's weird.
That was weird. Like, the entire desk was, like, shaking every time you did that. That's why I'd look over at your leg to see if you were, like...
I'm perfectly
adjusting it.
That's something we're going to have to review. I personally believe that all Santeria is Santeria. It's Santeria. It's Santeria. It's Santeria.
Right there.
I did this.
You feel this? No, it wasn't. Maybe it was that.
I did this. Well, you'll just have to review that to see if we
do that again. Like.
Well, I just moved my hands like this. That's it.
That may have been it.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then we could rule out, me talking about the subject. But anyway, there's relations of, similarities, I should say, between Santeria and voodoo. Like, there's similar practices in these two different cultures, practices of this magic, where voodoo, I'm sure most people have heard of voodoo dolls. Mm-hmm. Voodoo is more than just using voodoo dolls. It's actually, there's a large, broad practice of it. And seeing that this island has to do with dolls, maybe there's a part of Santeria that had something to do with these dolls. That's just a theory of mine, that it might be connected somehow.
Do you think that maybe he wasn't truthful in his accounts of that little girl? Maybe that's why the stories are so misconstrued.
That's crazy. I didn't think about that. That didn't cross my mind.
That the murder was intentional, and that him displaying that doll angered him even more, and what created the curse.
That could be. Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Because for someone to possess themselves as setting up an island full of dolls doesn't seem...
That's just creepy in general. I don't know.
That's just... I'm not trying to, dismantle his work, because he is passed away. I don't want to speak ill of anyone. I'm just trying to, put out some other theories.
Yeah, just a theory about how this could have... The paranormal activity on the island could have originated. So, with that being said, Santana Barrera. Santana Barrera's connection to the dolls runs deep. He kept the first doll he ever collected in his room, along with his favorite doll, Augustina. Visitors can still see these dolls today. So that makes me think a little bit more about the theory you posed, because he seems to have already been collecting dolls before he found that doll. Mm-hmm. Because if he kept the first doll he ever collected in his room, and if the first
trophy,
if the first doll he found was the one floating down the river, then that doesn't line up. So I don't think the first doll he found was the one floating down the river, because he hung that one on the tree, according to the legend of this, in honor of the girl. So if he already had an existing collection of dolls, I think that maybe there have been some sort of magical voodoo Santeria type practice where maybe these dolls are, I mean, this is just a wild theory. Maybe they're capturing the souls of his victims, and he just hangs them around the island as his trophy island.
Or if it was, maybe like he did find that doll and hang it up, and then like after his collection started, he brought that one back into his house too, as like, oh, this is my first one. I'm going to keep it here.
It could be, but
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, we just can't. There's random speculation, just random speculation. We're coming up with these theories about this right now.
By the way, it was definitely your arm, so that's solved.
Definitely my arm. You felt it again?
Yeah, because there is a lot of mysterious stuff that happens at my house
while we're especially while we're like discussing things on our show. But yeah, it's we're not going to instantly rule it out as me banging the table. But in that case, it's ended up being that.
Yeah, okay. I think so.
Well, sorry for causing you an unnecessary concern.
I'm like, what? Every time you said this stuff about this dark magic or this magic, I'm like,
I promise I've never practiced Santeria. I am Hispanic, but no. People in my family have.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The generation, so my 2 generations before me, I think my father's mother, so my grandmother and her sisters, I believe, or my grandmother's sister, I think. My father's told me some, over like briefly he'll mention like, oh yeah, she practiced Santeria, and just moves past it. I'm like, wait, I want to, let's talk about that. Like, what's going on there? And I think that could also, explain, or at least partially explain, some of the reasoning behind some of my paranormal experiences, because maybe that stuff, when people are practicing these magical disciplines, these magical practices, there's some sort of contracts or pacts that are sometimes necessarily required, where you're agreeing that every firstborn child for the rest of your family's lineage is doomed to suffer X or Y. Not necessarily sacrificed or death, but like, you know, this spirit guide that was helping this person do whatever magic they're doing is like, okay, I'll help you do this magic, but you are agreeing in me doing this that every firstborn down the lineage from you is I'm going to follow them around and mess with them, however that may be. So, I mean, there's theories of things passing down the family like that too. So I think that that's extremely possible as a partial reason as to why I've experienced some of the experiences I've had. Yeah, just spitballing that out there.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Despite its creepy reputation, the island of the dolls is open to visitors.
You can hire trajenadas,
traditional gondola-like boats to take you on a tour of the
Xochimilco
canals, with a stop at the island itself.
However, it is worth noting that while most rowers are willing to transport people to the island, there are some that may refuse due to superstitions surrounding the dolls and the island's reputation. And like I was saying about Santeria and stuff, the Hispanic culture is highly superstitious. Also very Catholic too, but highly superstitious. So just take that for what it is.
So I think he may have had good intentions when he hung up that doll and tried to, ward away any malevolent spirits. But
what do you think is more likely? The legend of him doing that, right? The legend of the girl passing and then him taking that to ward off spirits, taking the doll, hanging it in her honor, or something potentially way more sinister. What do you think is more likely? Personally,
I think given the imagery of the forest or the island itself,
yeah,
definitely a little bit.
I think it leans more towards the sinister side, personally. Now, I think that if maybe he's not responsible for the sinister behind things here.
Maybe it didn't start off like that.
Maybe he truly did hang this doll up on the tree out of honor for her and to ward off malevolent forces and spirits. Maybe that part is true, but maybe there's something else happening there that is the source of why that girl died and has a more malevolent intention behind it.
It's a subject of another episode or another topic we'll be bringing up in a few weeks of like objects that are haunted themselves.
So yeah, that could be.
Maybe because that was the last possession of the girl, like that's why it's being haunted.
And I do think it's interesting too that your weekly video from last week discussed, is something, or when people experience paranormal activity, when people have paranormal encounters, is it because of the location that they're experiencing the activity and that location is prone to activity, or is it the person themselves that is prone to experiencing activity and whatever the spiritual paranormal entity is that is interacting with them is following them around in different locations. And I mean, I think we both can agree to come to the conclusion that both are possible and likely to be true. Not in every instance, but in different instances, different things are true. So to the episode that we're discussing today, like this one could be the location.
Definitely.
Whereas Skinwalker Ranch that we discussed in a previous episode, that could be location. And then the what was the forest? That could be location. So I mean, it is a key theme behind this week's episodes is the cursed locations. But with that being said, maybe there could be something that was pertinent or attached to the people involved or the person involved, let's say, in this particular instance. Maybe the owner of the Skinwalker Ranch had something attached to him, and that's how it's happening there. I think that's very unlikely.
That's also the point I should have brought up on that episode, was that apparently whoever goes there, the ranch reacts differently to those. So when they brought that guy on, that Jay Strutton guy, the ranch reacted differently to him, and they did that through scientific testing.
Like the scientific method,
like all they set up this huge experiment and didn't tell him about it.
Oh,
so they did all this stuff, and then they repeated the same experiment with him gone, and the results were interesting. It's definitely worth looking.
That was on the show.
That was on the show.
We're gonna be watching that show over here.
But would you ever go to this island?
No, sorry, nope, no, no, not me. Thankfully, Nick, that I don't have anything to worry about because I'm never going to that island. So, that's not happening.
I might go.
That's a trip.
I'm always up.
That's a trip, dude. When we were looking this up, you pointed out how creepy the dolls are, and you're still gonna go.
Oh well, I went to the Zach Bacon's Haunted Museum, and I was in that haunted. These are actual haunted dolls supposedly, and I was in that room by myself. So I think I could take on a whole island full of them.
You could take on a whole island. What if you go to this island and they all just start moving and they rise up and attack you?
And it's my time.
It's my time.
Because there's no way I'm getting out of there.
I'm not getting out of there. Anyway, yeah, I'm never going to that island. It's definitely not on my bucket list. Surprisingly, I'd probably go skydiving before I'd go to that island. I would probably love to go skydiving versus go to that island. And Skinwalker Ranch too. Like, I love learning about it, but I don't think I'd want to go there.
I'll go there in a heartbeat.
I know you would. I know that's probably on the top of your list.
That is the absolute top of my list. I bet Brandon Fogel, if he ever contacted me and asked if I want to go there, absolutely. Like that day, I would drop everything I'm doing to go.
Yeah, I'm not going, and my wife wouldn't let me go even if I wanted to.
Especially, I'd be curious to see, if something does react different to me there.
That's true. That'd be cool.
Because I tend to have that effect on where I go places. Things tend to happen.
Yeah, I think a lot of the occurrences that you experience is more attested to the spiritual entity or the paranormal entity following you versus the locations. Like I said, both can be true.
Yeah.
I believe both are true, and I don't think in a specific circumstance that it's likely for both to be true, but I think in individual circumstances, one or the other is applicable to the circumstance. And I think in your case, a lot of your experiences, whatever you're experiencing, I think is not like attached to you, like it's holding on to you or something, but following you around everywhere. And I've had experiences where things followed me around too. So, no longer though. But yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to that island. Bottom of the line. End of story. End of discussion. But it's definitely an eerie reminder of how the human imagination can transform ordinary places into something seemingly out of a nightmare.
Wow. Actually, well said, Brandon.
Thank you.
I didn't mean actually to insult you, but it was well said.
I didn't take it that way.
And with that, we wrap up our final episode of Cursed Locations.
And the exploration continues, and we can't wait to have you back for more revelations.
Remember, your questions and theories fuel our discussion, so please keep them coming.
Make sure to tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern for our live discussion on weekly paranormal picks, straight from our Facebook group. And until then, stay curious and keep seeking the truth.
Thank you for being part of the Beyond the Hub family. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And once again, this is Beyond the Hub podcast, where the realms of the paranormal and conspiracies collide, and the truth
Is
waiting to be unveiled. We'll see you next time, guys.
Take care, everyone.